Well, salutations, fellow vidiots. Welcome back to yet another episode of that full moon madness, baby. We are joined here by Nico. She's probably going to be assisting us off and on throughout the evening. And today we have for you a brand new segment that we're going to be introducing into the mix over here in between waves of reviews called The Coming Attractions. This is where I'm going to share series news with you guys, and where I'm going to reveal, directly ripping off the Hot Ones style, the entire lineup of, our next wave of reviews. So that you guys can have a bit of a heads up on what we're going to be covering and have a chance to get out there and check it out yourselves. I believe I did this at the end of a pickup segment at one point in the past, and I've been meaning to implement it as its own segment. What do you think about that, Nico? Indifferent. So I'm going to try to set her down, get you guys up to speed on what's been going on, and, she'll probably jump back up here and claw the shit out of me here real soon. So as you guys can see, we got a new setup going on here. I have moved all of my collections for the most part. Well, I'm about 2/3 of the way done doing it, into my old office that I used to fuck around in, or my game room, whatever you want to call it. We built like a wall across our garage and turned one half of it into its own little fucking room. Served me well for a lot of years. Used to do all of my reviews back here, years ago, and I'm pretty nostalgic being back in here working on videos again. I can't lie. It feels pretty good. Also stays extra cool in this portion of the house, and, I'm not going to complain about that either with the fucking heat wave we've had going on. Now you might be asking yourself, why would you go through all that trouble, Mosley? That seems like a lot of work, and it fucking was, and it's fucking gonna be because I still have quite a bit left to do. I'm only about 2/3 of the way through the process. But the point of doing this was to free up the entire family room, which is where I've been, based at for a while now, so that I can eventually repaint it, refurbish it, and set it up as the full moon room / Dungeons and Dragons studio, because I've been running some games with the kids. We're going to be collecting some miniatures, all that stuff. That's, story for another time. Pretty interesting one, though. We've been having a blast. But, I've mentioned building that full moon room a couple of times on the show so far, and it's high time we got started on doing that. I've got some posters that I've ordered. I've got various decorative shit that I want to put up out there. I need rooms so that I can eventually get those glass cases for the Puppet Master replicas. It's just one of those things where if I tried to do it in here, I would quickly outgrow the space with the kind of decor that I want going on to sort of set the mood for this series in the future. So hopefully, inside of the next 2 or 3 months, we'll be shooting these videos in their own exclusive space. And then back here in the archives, I can shoot, whatever else I need to shoot. So here's to that being a speedy process, and old Charlie keeping those fucking puppet replicas in stock or in production long enough for me to collect all of them. In terms of other shit we got going on with the show, I definitely am still wanting to do full-length discussions for these movies at some point. I stopped kind of plugging that for a while because I really need to get this working like clockwork. We were doing good for a while, and we're going to continue to do good after coming back off our break here. But I wanted to get a lot of this stuff covered, all of the basics nailed down, some of the major franchises out of the way before I really start, bugging people to come on and do podcasts for them with me. I want to be able to have a review I can reference them to if they've never checked out the movie before, and, just kind of have it more fleshed out before we start launching the podcast episodes. That being said, any of you guys that ever want to get involved in that are more than welcome to drop by. We'll shoot the shit, make some memories, and get your thoughts recorded on these fine films for the future. So outside of that, we have also reached a milestone with the series here, and that is hitting that 100 movie mark in our full moon collection. I have exactly 100 movies from Full Moon at the moment. I didn't even realize that when I was doing the pickup video. I didn't bother to count, but when I put them all on the shelf today and finally got them out of the fucking boxes that they came in, it turned out, fucking boom, right on the money, 100 movies. So we're going to be passing the 100 movie mark with our 4th of July haul, which should be arriving tomorrow. Should be waiting for me when I show up to work. But here's to that 100 movie mark, baby. Hit that a lot sooner than I thought we were going to. And that about does it as far as series news and updates. Now we can jump into that Wave 4 review lineup. First up here, though, we have a movie that's not part of our official review wave. This is one that I actually owe you guys from our previous wave, and that is Meridian. You know, not too much I can say about this that wouldn't spoil the review, other than, you know, classic early 90s full moon flick directed by Charlie Band himself. It's that werewolf sex movie, you know what I mean? It's pretty infamous because of that, and because of Charlie Spradling and Sherilyn Fenn being naked as a motherfucker in it. But that stuff aside, on a more serious note, it is really like a proper, good, sinister sort of reworking of a Beauty and the Beast type story. And I think you guys should check it out as soon as possible, because that review is going to be a good one. So with that in mind, I figured since we left off on an early 90s full moon flick, it was only appropriate that we returned to the series with just a full wave of early 90s full moon dank. So to that end, our first film here is one that you guys saw recently, so I'm not going to say too much about it, and that is Shadow Zone. Definitely an unsung full moon gem from the early 90s that you guys should see immediately, and it's a proper kickoff to this, because just, you know, arranging them in release order, it ended up where we have like a science fiction flick, then a more serious flick, then a sort of fantasy flick, then 2 science fiction flicks right in a row, and then we're closing it out with some classic creature feature action. So it's a nice, you know, varied but balanced stack of full moon movies. After that, we got The Pit and the Pendulum, with old Lance Henriksen up in there. I heard he got pretty fucking insane during the filming of this, so looking forward to checking it out. I feel like I've seen it before, maybe. I think I mentioned in the pickup video where we grabbed it that I was unsure about that possibly, or I just hadn't seen it. But I definitely grew up seeing that poster a lot. It's iconic in its own right. Also, Jeffrey Combs up in that bitch too, so, you know, there's that. It's one of 2 movies in this wave that feature old Jeffrey Combs, so we got that to look forward to. Anyways, our next film is Netherworld. This is another one that I would consider like an absolute fucking gem of Full Moon's early 90s library. I mean, it's just so well done, so well put together. The music is awesome. I believe it's like the first film appearance of Edgar Winters, so if you're a fan of that guy, you know, you got that to look forward to. And it was directed by old David Schmoller. So naturally, it features some callbacks to Tourist Trap. Definitely check out my review for that motherfucker if you haven't seen it yet. It's a great movie. Anyway, after that, we got a double feature that those of you who watched our recent pickup special know I was extra hyped to be able to do, and that is Mandroid and Invisible, The Chronicles of Benjamin Knight. So these will be reviewed back to back, most likely dropped on the same day, you know, as a double feature, like they should be. And then finally, we're going to be closing it out with H.P. Lovecraft's Lurking Fear. This is a movie I used to rent the fuck out of as a kid. Honestly, between this and Invisible, it's hard to say which one I rented more, but, you know, chances are it probably was Lurking Fear. There's just something about it. It's like a 90s survival horror game made into a feature film, and I absolutely cannot wait to cover it. But, you know, I gotta get through this entire fat stack of full moon goodness before we hit that point, and I think we should be able to bang it out pretty much inside of a week or 2. So look forward to that timeline of release. Get out there and check out the movies on Tubi, on Full Moon Streaming. I think Amazon Prime has some of them. They're out there. They're easy enough to find. Anyway, that does it for our Wave 4 review lineup. Hopefully you guys are as stoked on this shit as I am. Right now, you are going to check out the trailer for Lurking Fear, and we are going to go ahead and get the fuck out of here so that we can start working on reviewing this shit. As always, I have been Mosley. You've been a bunch of sexy fucking beasts, and this has been yet another episode of that Full Moon Madness. Cheers. Thanks for watching.
What you really are, inside, a killer. That's part of it.
Lefferts Corners.
Yeah, it's in Nutton, about 200 miles south.
I'm just here for the money. One of you dies every 10 minutes till I get it.
We had a deal.
The storm's coming in.
Come on, Father. These damn things have been living under our feet and tearing us apart for 20 years.
I know that better than you.